Good evening, guys. So I have Santosh. Who else in the call? Hello? I see guest login. Who else in the call? You can use type, basically chat window if you want to use. It's right there as a chat. I can just hit, say, hello. Santosh? You're
Yes,
there?
Amit.
Oh,
Yes,
right.
Amit.
Okay. All right. So we can get it started. It's almost 7:30 now. So quick about myself, Santosh. We didn't get a chance, or I think just wanted to see basically who else is the other party. But anyway, so just starting with myself, like my name is Kumar Amit, and I'm like 15 plus year of experience in the business object right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I do work in the normal business hours, and in the evening as a part-time I conduct like this one batch, say 1:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Eastern timing. I'm SAP BO certified, and we provide all the SAP object course curriculum as part of this training, starting with the universal designing tool and the information designing tool, which is a new tool in BO4.1, and then reporting tool, web intelligence rich client, and then administration tool like business object, BobJ, administration side. So that's kind of the thing. And then we do have like Excel CS2 class, and then live office, BI widgets, and then upgrade project. So we talk about a lot of things. So once we start a batch, basically it's a 5 days a class. So like Monday to Friday, every day, like all 5 weekdays, we are going to have a class. And then the course pattern you will be following pretty much like what we have right here on the syllabus. You can see. So we start with the very first on the top, basically the basics. So based on the participant, like the basic fundamental, we spend time here. But pretty much like first class will be on the basics on this one. Then we start with the universal design tool, which is kind of very popular tool. It's there in business object from BO 6.x, I would say, as a designer. And then right now in this tool, basically 4.1, they just changed the name as a universal design tool. Then the fundamental, I would say, all the concepts remain same, what we have listed here. Once you finish this universal design tool, why we are teaching this one first? Because it's very popular in the market. It's been there, as I said, very, very long time, and still a lot of clients, they are in the BOXAR2, not lot, I would say, very few clients are in BOXAR2, few are there in BOXAR3. A lot of clients, they are moving forward with BO 4.1 project. So once we finish this concepts in universal design tool, then we go into the information design tool. First week plus couple of days in the next week, kind of like 1 week plus a couple of days moving into the second week, completing this universal designing and information designing tool. Once you finish the two, basically then we move to the reporting, which starts with web intelligence tool, and all the topics what we are mentioned here is kind of just like high level. We can mention as much, but we go by a tool. So whatever options we have in the tool, we make sure we go and touch base with all the options, talk about it, demonstrate it wherever possible, and then we make sure we cover the tool 100%. So web intelligence right here, then web by rich client, they are together. So we spend another like 1 week plus couple of days, I would say, if just that kind of like the total course is like 3 to 4 weeks, 3 to 4 in between 4 weeks. So that is what I'm taking maximum like fourth week kind of thing. So this is kind of second plus couple of days in the third week, web intelligence rich client, and then third plus couple of days like then we go into the into the dashboard. I think it's right here. Dashboard, Excel CS 2008. So that's kind of the Excel CS 2008. And desktop intelligence, when we were learning the reporting, I will be keep explaining what was there in the desktop intelligence, what is there in web intelligence, and this web intelligence rich client with respect to 4.1 is completely brand new. It's completely new. And then web intelligence rich client, when I said it's one of the reporting tool we had in the business object, it's been started with XIR2 followed by R3, and now we have only one tool as a reporting tool as the BO4.1 product suite, which is whereby rich client. And then this desktop intelligence was a reporting tool as well in legacy business object version up to the 3.1 version. And with 4.1, this tool has been taken away or removed and no more available in the business object reporting tool or BO4.1 product suite. So this tool is not there, but again, as I said, a lot of clients, they are still in 3.1. So we attempt our best to at least in terms of reporting, like interview questions or some certification questions. I will excuse me for cold, man. I will try to teach you guys all the in and outs related with desktop intelligence, what was there, why it was famous, why people were using it, and now with 4.1, as I explicitly say 4.1, rich client, the business object has tried their best to basically moderate both the tools as a one common platform kind of thing. They try to put the missing piece from desk key to web intelligence kind. So we go, as I said again, each and every topics and real-time demonstration and examples. So once you finish, then we are pretty much like third plus fourth week. So Excel CS, like then we go like 2 classes, I would say, like pretty much we'll be going on the universes and the reporting and curious web services, live office, and all these things. We are going to use it. And then the last session will be 3 to 4 weeks. It's going to be in our administration, where again this is just like a few items what we are listing here, but we are going to talk about each and everything again in the in the administration, starting from user creation, then groups, then security, then folder, access level, profile, busting, and everything pretty much. So we will see a few things, not bits and pieces here in today's session. So I am planning today's session. This is how we will, plan our session, today's session. So the first thing we will start with BO tools, roles, and market, and tools, BO, demo tool, server access, then syllabus we already talked about pretty much, and then basic models and all these things, whatever we have. So as we talk about like roles and markets and all these things in business object, the very first thing is you are moving forward your career in business object. You wanted to know what kind of career opportunity you have in the business object world. So the very first thing I would say, BO administrator, BO university designer, BO report writer. Once you have 1, 2, and 3, thorough knowledge as a plus your experience, you can get up to BO architect level of knowledge. So that's how basically the business object world starts with. So the very first 2 topics, what you see, hey Raja, we just started, Raja, and we're just going through like these 5 topics like tools and market and what we are going to see here. So the very first is basically, as I'm saying, like as a reporting perspective, from the business object reporting perspective, you will be looking forward yourself as a carrier, like the business object university designer / report writer. So when I say this university designer / report writer, it depends on the client. Some clients, let's say you have an offshore, you wanted to give a lot of work as a report writing to the offshore, and you wanted to keep your university designing work with you here at onshore. So it's like maybe 2 role, maybe 1 role, but as a matter of fact, like you are looking yourself as a business object world, you have to have this university designer plus report development knowledge thoroughly. So that's kind of the 2 roles what we have in the market right now. And the third role that after the training you can go forward it, you can go for it, I would say BO administrator. So that's BO administrator is another kind of like the roles and job market what we have, where again like it's really good and challenging plus long term again with the business object administrator, where you are going to do a lot of the basic things what I've kind of listed here, like setting up securities, setting up your dev, UAT prod, upgrade project, security, patch upgrade, database, and cost estimation, like your server, infrastructure, and all these things. So kind of the third 3 levels. So in our training, we will focus all the 3 areas in depth, start to end, with practical live examples. So that's what you will be pretty much going. And as I said, BO architect, we do, when we reach into the BO administrator sections, we will teach you, what kind of basics, like, with the BO architect kind of roles and responsibilities and all the discussions and managerial point, I would say. Okay. And then this fourth role is kind of dashboard writer, which build on top of Excel CS or business object dashboard applications that you are going to use it. So that's kind of the business object, basically, the roles. And the market is pretty good after this SAP acquisitions to business object. And if you are in SAP world and if you're not, basically SAP is kind of like taking away all the BW reporting from its SAP platform. And all the clients, whoever they have been using BW for the reporting, basically, they have been told by the service is going to be in very soon. So pretty much either you plan or you start working in the sorry, in the business object reporting front. So like all the clients, they're already they're in the business object, like all the relational, non-relational, plus you will get the big SAP reporting, like BW reporting market front coming into the business object world. So a lot of opportunities, I would say, and lots of the work coming up. A lot of other projects you will see in the business object. Like it's kind of very competitive. Plus the most important and the most flexible kind of a trademark and copyright applications business object provides for the ad hoc end users. When I say ad hoc end users, like you yourself, hired as a business user or business analyst in a firm, they have a business object reporting. All they will expect you to do some query and pull the data from backend and do some analysis for your, for your BA work, and then you will and then basically you are not like as a business analyst. Now the market is changing. They want one man, jack in the trap kind of thing. They want one man doing everything. But again, it's a typical business analyst role. If you talk about, then it's just a business analyst. So you don't have to have like a lot of technical experience. You should have the business exposure, rather technical exposure, right? So with that said, as soon as it's like as easiest reporting tool you are going to have, the more easiest a business analyst is going to perform, or basically they can perform in the work. So the business object is one of the best tool to perform a quick query reporting, and I'm going to show you as we speak. So as the terms of business object reporting, I'm going to be a launchpad, kind of like login ID and password page here for the business object, and this is a interface between developer and user. So this is BO4.1, like a BR Launchpad, and it's kind of interface between developer and a business user. So the business users, if they are going to run a report which you have developed for them, they simply come and all the clicks I'm going to perform on the screen, exactly they will be performing to pull their specific report and run the report and get the data. So left hand side you will see the folders. It's kind of very, I would like to teach like very simple way. So it's kind of your folder structure, like in your laptop or computer. Like you have your all the folders by the naming conventions. Like you think about your business object reporting, like your client side based on your client, sales, marketing, whatever it is. Basically, you will see the respective folder and the reports are sitting beside it, and the user is simply coming in, clicking here, and he's going through all these reports and then running the reports and then just getting the data and then just like move on. So that's kind of the basic things he will be performing to just like get the data and just like move on. So that's kind of the first thing. And then as the ad hoc user says, I started with a conversation, applications, web intelligence reporting, and hit new, and then you need to teach a little bit of them, just like the few things, few options right here, and then just pick up a universe. So now you can see once you develop your universe, right, after the universe and information design insertion, you will be seeing whatever you have developed as a universe designer, this is your solution, this is your product that you have developed for your reporting users. It's sitting right here in the repository in the server, and end user is selecting your developed universe product for their reporting. So now they are clicking in OK, and now left hand side is the class and objects. Then again, as I'm saying, you have developed for your reporting users. So you can see based on your target users, you club together all these objects and you have put together in this in this universe, and all they have to do just click an object, get the object, you hit in this view SQL, like you can see how efficiently business object generate this SQL. So if you don't know about SQL in the backend and the language and all these things, you don't have to worry about. Business object is there to do that job for you. All you need to know, what logic and what business and what object as a end users they should supposed to get, and this is how quickly and on the fly you can see you got your report, and then it has thousands of all the tons of options that we'll be learning through with the live example. So this is kind of a quick example how end users logging into the BI Launchpad. He will run a report. He will use this business object ad hoc query, and then he will get the data. So that's kind of the first thing we have just demonstrated. So now let's see tools BO4.0. So now we are just going with the second point. So before we go to the tools, I would say let's start with the server access. So once I have all your confirmation and everything and the tuition payment and everything, I will set up your login ID and password, and I will make you as a business object administrator in the server. So when you will learn your business object, so like this is kind of like, be a launchpad, all the options what you are seeing, plus when you will go to the central management console, which is kind of administration panel for the business object, whatever options I am seeing as an administrator account, you will be seeing all the options. So I will not distinguish between a very basic the novice or like the beginner user. I will give you admin rights so you can learn up to your capability. So you will have everything to learn and explore in the business object in the server. So once you have your login ID and password, all you need to do, use this remote desktop connections. I will send all these details back to you in the email, and then the computer, you just type it, punch it, and then hit connect, and then I'm going to give your ID and password. You just type that ID and password, hit OK, and then at the end, basically, and then simply you will log in into the same server right here. These icons are maybe a little bit different because just like you're logging in your own user account, so you may not see all this Excel because I downloaded and all these things. Then all you need to find, again, like the sequence may be a little bit different, but all you need to find business object and basically BI4. So here the two of basically the point what we have here. Then SAP Business Intelligence, then we have Crystal, we have Dashboard, we have Client Tools, and all these things. And this is like your Central Management Configuration, Java Launchpad, VIA Launchpad, and CMC, like a hyperlink shortcut what I have in my favorites. Then we start with here, like the Client Tools. So as we start with, as I started just now in our today's session, basic tonight's session, we start with the very first topic is Universe Design Tool. So once we finish this Universe Design Tool, we will go to Information Design Tool, the second one. So let's go and open this Universe Design Tool. So I'm clicking here in Universe Design Tool. And then you can see here, I'm logging here with the details. And now you might have seen the very first screen, the flashing screen. It has, let me just go and say quick, I will just, so the very first is basically your system name, server name, ID, password, and all the authentication. So we'll talk all these details like, what are this authentication, which one is for what, and how you should use, which one you should use. So we start with the very first screen, we talk through it, then we move on to one or other topic slowly one by one. So we will start to you with the very basic, and then we will slowly pick you up all the way up to the beginner plus an advanced level of universe designer knowledge or reporting knowledge. So here you can see the moment we start with file, pretty much you will be seeing two kind of project in the business object world. The very first project where you are going to be as an extra resource, means like you already have a universe and everything set up for you. And then the second kind of universe, you're going as a scratch, like as a scratch. When I say like starting a project from a scratch, you are the first one, you just like going and you're just like saying new and starting with the table and everything. So we basically cover both the scenarios, and again we go each and everything in the top in the details. Right now I'm just pulling over one of the existing universe what we have. So this is how you can see once you build an universe how it's going to look like. So in the right hand side you will see all the tables, the relationships, the joins. This is one of the small examples what we have in eFashion, like retail domain example, and we will see like a retail domain like all the shopping and calendar year and all these things as a real-time scenario when we talk through it. And then here we got a lot of concepts like context and like how you get your loops and all these things like check integrity So all these things like loop and divergence, parsing object, and all these things here is like what it is doing and what is the use of this integrity check, and what you will get at the end, and if you find a problem, how you are going to fix it. So that's kind of the basic thing. So here the check loop, if you look at this loop and how is it now, it says okay, so we have already implemented, but the basic things. Then on the left hand side, once you develop all of them here on the left hand side, you will be seeing all the classes what you have created for your end users. And if you focus here, there is an aggregate aware. So these are some of the important functions in the business object where you have like some of the examples you will see here in the measure. So you have, let's say, the same column, like the sales revenue, then sales revenue, and then the third table which says amount sold, which amount sold is kind of the sales revenue, right? Amount sold, whatever you have sold, is your sales revenue. So the same column, same information, same data is stored in a different table. So now you got the same column is stored in the multiple tables. How you are going to get the data and what combinations from one or other table at different combination of tables or your SQL, because you do have to support your ad hoc users where you have zero control. When I say zero control, you develop your class and object and you just give to them. And now they drag and drop what they are dragging and what they are dropping and what kind of SQL they are setting up at the end users, you don't have any control. So you have to design your solution in a way to support your reporting users for a long time, like they don't have to face any problem. So that is kind of one things like aggregate awareness, and now basically you can see these two aggregate tables. So we do touch like like the concepts about like why this aggregate table is there, what is the use of the aggregate table, focusing in the reporting fundamental, and then just like talking a little bit on the data warehousing and business intelligence, and then aggregate navigations and how aggregate navigations work and all these things. Then we have this prompt in the screen, like what kind of prompt you generate, like one of the static prompt, other one is basically the prompt is pulling the data from the class and objects, like all the different syntax here. What is this, like multi, constraint, it prompt, and all these things. So we go over like this is basically 90% of reports you are going to have your prompt, and you will be using it all the time in your reporting. So this is kind of your class and object, like dimension object, and this is your detail object, this is your universe. And overall what it is, basically this universe design tool / information design tool, when we talk about what exactly it is and what is this object and all these things. So when we talk about reporting, the reporting is nothing but at the end, it's just like your salary slip, right? Your bank statement. So what I mean to say, it's kind of a data in a form of table or chart in a graphical way, right? It's a very simple layman language. So when I say that in a form of like the table or chart, all you care about is data or numbers. Like just think about your salary slip. If there is no number, it's what is that? It's just a framework. It's no use, right? You wanted to see the number, like the bank statement. So at the end, the data. So where the data is coming? So the report is kind of your design. You say, I want like the table is a cross-step table or vertical table. Then I want a chart. So I want to see like my monthly expenses, like my quarterly expenses, my yearly expenses, and I want to go through the details basically. So now you got the format. That's kind of your report. Kind of you got your format, how you want to see or visualize your data in a different combination on a visual presentation. Now you got your framework like your design, but where the data is going to come. You always want your data to be safe and secured in your backend. Now your backend can be anything. As I said, anything can be SAP, ECC, BW, Teradata, SAP HANA, SQL Server, Oracle, anything, right? Now you have anything on your backend. Let's take like any single database. Now you got your data is stored there. Now it's reporting tool. Now your database, like it's all whatever I just pronounced the name. There are different kind of database tool. Now you have your business object reporting tool. You have to mingle. You have to marry these two tools together. You have to have some kind of connections where which will facilitate this marry thing basically. So file. If you go here in parameters, there is a connection. So this is how we learn how to make a connections and all these things. You provide your connection details, your backend connection database details, and then you connect to your database. Once you connect to your database, then you basically build up a connections, and you simply bring your all the tables, what you need for your reporting based on your reporting project, build a relationship between and all the tables. And once you build the relationship between tables, you just start building an object. Use your table. You can see this is your nothing but a table name, calendar year lookup dot object name, and start working based on your requirement, whatever you have, to build up your reporting solution. So once you build this solution, you are good to export this one for your reporting user slash for your reporting project, what you supposed to develop for the end users, and then you say file and you hit export, and you simply then export your report. In between here, you can see a lot of interesting things. For example, so when you're building up your reporting solutions, you will face some kind of challenges. Very first kind of challenges, all right. So this is very plain, simple language, very simple world where there is no challenge, there is no issue. But again, you know the data hackers, right? They're always around you, and they wanted to steal your company precious data. So what you are going to do, you wanted to put the boots. So you wanted to put the boots means basically you wanted to set up security around it. So let's say a couple of different kind of security you wanted to play around, and this is all a responsibility of a developer. But you need to have security knowledge, means like it's either way. If I would say demo and like BO administrator, means like whatever role you will go in the company, even though as a plain just a university designer or even working in the offshore for the report writer, you have to have admin knowledge. Right now, it's mandatory. Client will not ask, but if you do not have admin knowledge, and you are working at the client side, sooner than later you will be get into a trap, because it's a lot of responsibility. At the end, reporting is nothing but a data, and security is nothing but protecting a data. Very simple language. So a lot of decision-making process you will be going through in the reporting, like folders. Like you are developer, you will be responsible to work with your client and set up a folder organization. And then you have to propose, you have to write up your requirement for your administrator. If you don't have any admin knowledge, how you are going to write up your admin requirement, first thing, right? Even though, let's say, the administrator will write up and he fix it for you. Now, whose responsibility to validate that requirement, whether it's been correct or not? You just don't want users to come and check. If there is one user who is not supposed to see, let's say, promotion details and the salary details and hire or fire details, if he will get an access, he will download this data, and then he will just start talking about that in the company, and then the reporting manager will be in trouble. So it's a lot of responsibility. So if you will not be focusing on that front in the beginning, it's like sooner than later, your manager will realize, okay, you are not doing your job in the right way, and you are not performing the right step at the right time. So sometime sooner than later, a plain developer who just have the universe or just have the reporting knowledge is not in the world now. So it's old story pretty much. Okay. So as I said, the two scenarios. So the user, let's say the user is going to run a report, and now there is a one basically manager who just wanted to get the DC state data. You don't want to give him any other state data, how you are going to perform it. That's one scenario, like row level security. So the same object, same report, and same kind of the state object you have in the reporting. You run a report, you get all the state data. The other person is going to run a report, and he will just get the DC state data. How you are going to magically filter this data for one user for basically DC and for everything else like all the data. So that's kind of the row level security you will learn. Second scenario, let's say promotions. Like in the same universe, you have the ad hoc users. You don't want to give, this is kind of one of the promotions, kind of the confidential class, which have the promotions and all the informations like confidential information. So what you will say, well, I don't want to give this promotions class access to following group, so let's hide it. So when that group member is going to log in into this universe, they will not see this promotions class at all, but at the same time, all the other users, when they are going to log in, they will see this promotions class. That's kind of the security you are going to set up for your client based on the client requirement. Okay, these are the few examples that I'm giving all along in our reporting journey. So that's kind of the first tool as a quick like universal design tool. A lot to learn here, context, loops, and object creation, prompt, hierarchy, drill down, list of values, and basically derive tables and connections. So as I said, lot to learn here. And then all the scenarios, hide, show, export, import, and locking, unlocking, and all the concepts. So then we'll move to the very similar tool. As I said, universal designing tool and information design tool, they both are classified in business object as semantic layer. When we say a semantic layer, a layer or basically an interface which provides basically which facilitates data flow between your database and business object reporting tool. That's kind of the quick and short. And then you create in a classes and objects for your ad hoc users, ad hoc reporting users, which they can leverage and they can create a reporting solution for the business, for the client. So then second example is basically information design tool, which is kind of a brand new tool you can see here in this example. The fundamentals are same. Whatever concepts you are going to learn in universal design tool, we have the same concepts exactly, plus few additional basically functionality. It has been provided as part of IDT tool, for example, these views and families. And then basically the most important is basically, if you look at here, BLX file parameters, like parameter and navigation. So if you look at so now if you look at here, this object, same object, the one we had before, like product, product category and product. So now if I will say choose, expression, you can see add prompt, but now it just says some wordings here, and there is nothing like what we have been seeing here. I'm opening the same prompt like product SKU, like this multi-constraint and A, what it is, it's all gone. Then other one, which category when you open, it has a lot of there's in the bracket, all these values, all these LOVs, list of values. If I click back here in list of values, and then I will open the same which category object, say which category, it's all plain and simple. So it's simplified a lot of things, and it has been enhanced in a way. So in UDT, you can see there is a one prompt which has all this list of values. List of values is nothing but when you run a report, it will prompt and then say which state you want to select and run this report. So this is the kind of same, so which category you want to run. So let's say in this version, in this UDT, you have this list of values and it's all hard-coded. Now if you have 20 prompt which is using the same values, and let's say it's like day wear, it has been changed to night wear, just like the wording. Now you have to go and change all those 15 and 20 prompt LOVs in UDT version, versus if you have this business or this I would say IDT layer, this solution, just come here and change it to once, and all the prompt will use this parameter, and then you don't have to change anything else in any other prompt. So this is kind of a great functionality improvement have been performed in IDT version. So that's kind of one of the things, kind of interesting what you find there. Plus again, project synchronization, security, the one we just talked about, security editor, it's been completely revamped, and a lot of functionality and the information is sitting around in this IDT tool. But again, the fundamental is same, should not take a lot of time here. So the universal designer is the one which will take a little bit of time, and then IDT is 2 to 3 days at maximum, and then we can cover it up pretty much a lot of concepts which are very similar as compared to UDT. Okay. So far, anyone has any question? Raja, Santosh, and guest, who is this? Achyut, and who is this? I'm just trying to guess who is the guest person. Good. Any questions so far? Raja, Santosh?
No, Kumar. So today you are giving a high level, and from tomorrow onwards you will give the details.
Tomorrow,
right?
yeah, tomorrow we'll start with the full flow with the training and all these things. Yeah. So Okay, so then we'll just start with the reporting here, and then reporting, and we'll just start with the Excel CS dashboard, and then just we'll move to the administration, and then we can sign up for the class for tonight then. So the reporting, you can see again what we are going to learn here in reporting. This is kind of a reporting tool, Web Intelligence Rich Client, and it's again like as a standard reporting in a world when you will be designing a complex report. This is the tool that you will be using all the time in the reporting world. So you simply log in, then you start with your reporting here. So just like pick up your universe, and this just like the previous example I gave, and then you just like go and quickly create a report right as we speak through. And then if you start through in the very first screen, there are a lot of options starting here, add query, and you can add multiple queries here, and then like the data preview, and then your multiple queries, union, intersection, minus, and all these view sequels, and all these options here. I just added one more minus here. So, and then just reporting here, and then once you get in the reporting, then it has tons of options, as I said, with the live examples, data access, analysis, conditions, break, controls, ranking, setup, and all these things. All world of all these examples are sitting around here. Then we just go over like little bit some of the things that which are there in this tool, like report element, let's say linking here, just like hyperlinking here, and then element. Then this one of the thing is not here in this one, which is kind of different. If you open the same thing, like same example in Whereby Rich Client, then open document. When I say open document, is like master detail reporting, parent-child reporting. That's kind of one of the reporting you will be seeing, in your reporting world. So what kind of this open document reporting we're talking about? So like when you say design, and then I will go here and let's say report element and say linking. So now if I will click one of the column here, you can see this document tab, which is not there in the Whereby Rich Client. So this is some of the small tools. You can still write open document code if you want, but you have to remember that whole syntax for this open document reporting, and this is kind of a wizard which will do that job for you. So you wanted to do like the 100% sure shot approach, and less spending time and then maximum output. So this is kind of a solution which will help you out to build that open document reporting, master and detail reporting, and all these things. And then all these small quick things like break, and then this is like you can do quick break, and then you can just do some analysis like aggregations and all this fundamental thing like California sum is kind of, it's not coming up all the way. So it's like you wanted to say sum for, like it's kind of like good wording. So if you want to say in the front how you're going to write that. So all these small things like you will be going to play around and you'll see that. So so let's say you will write sum for, and then I'm just going to put, let's say, just like some small formatting thing. So this is just like one quick sum for California, is this sum for Colorado, is this sum for DC. So it's kind of dynamic, like you are formatting and all these things. So it's kind of just like one small, and then data access and a lot of things going on again here. And this is like Curious Web Services, which is kind of like you can use your report to build your Excel CS dashboard solution. So this is one way to create a Curious Web Services in the reporting. Then you have one other way here in a dashboard. This is a dashboard tool, and I'm just going to, okay, so it's coming up. Yeah, so there is a client tools Curious Web Services, which is another tool to create the same Curious Web Services, QAAWS, Curious Web Services for the reporting. So this is kind of the solution. So Curious Web Services. So you can just say, you can just like go and pull this one here, and let's say November 13 if I have, and I'll just go and say run for a moment. This is Curious Web Services one. Chart drill down. Okay, let me see this one if I can open this one. Yeah. So this is kind of one quick example, like in the static reporting in web intelligence, you can create a chart and all these things. You can see it's kind of so simple. Right click and say turn into a pie chart. You can see your chart has been converted into the pie chart. So it's straightforward and quick and simple. Then you can go back here, and this is kind of another way to look at the reporting world, like the dashboarding and all these things, and which is kind of very different tool itself. It's kind of the completely different world. So it gives you interactivity. So as you click into the pie slices, like San Francisco or like Fremont, you can see all the respective numbers of the column chart right under your chart or pie chart component. So this is kind of the interactivity you will get as part of this Excelsius dashboard product. So pretty much the fundamental is same, like working with more than one component. You will get an idea how you will set up your drill down between the components, how you will pass your data. Like you can see, you are clicking here in this preview. Once you click in the San Francisco, you are passing this San Francisco data, how you are showing like 332.3, and you are showing all this column chart, column bars here, how you're getting this data and information. So once you work with two components, I will show you all in the Excelsius. Like working with other component is very straightforward, concept stays same, and fundamental is same. So we'll spend about like 2 class in this Excelsius. One, we will work with the static data set, basically a scenario where like you're just like manager come back and say, okay, we got to answer these audit questions, in another meeting where a lot of big people are going to come, and we don't host this data. This data is going to come from XYZX team. Just, get the data from them, send them a manager copy, and then send them his email asking this column, like, and then this one spreadsheet. You got that spreadsheet, but now how you are going to basically, use that data. It's like, so basically just got the spreadsheet, you simply plug that spreadsheet data in your report, and then you just wanted to create like a quick dashboard for your client, for your manager, and then he will just use it, hit preview, download in PDF or PPT, and use it for the presentation. So that's one scenario. Second scenario, as I said, we will use the same example as it's been already learned through, and then we will again develop with Curious Web Services, like we'll use all the hard work as I have just demonstrated, like universe designing work, report designing work, and then we will use another, basically just extend the same topic like a little bit more, and then use your query and basically your universe work, whatever you have developed for your Curious Web Services, for the Excelsius work, where you will connect to the back end and get the data for the front end. Okay, so now we are moving to the last one, which is kind of central management console, basically your server. So now administration section, so we'll just like punch in again, and now we will just start with the very basics, like folders and users. So we'll create like a couple of users and a couple of groups here, and then we'll start with the basics, like, okay, so now let's say you pretend yourself as a developer / administrator. Now you are setting up a folders here. So let's say this is my reporting platform, my dev UAT prod reporting, and now this is my public folder. Now let's say I want to hide this development folder for the for the sales group. So we are going to create two group. One is sales, another is marketing. And then we are going to hide one other group, basically with versus like sales should not supposed to see the development folder, and then like marketing should not supposed to see this BO training kind of thing. So we'll just do it on a screen. We'll just create two folder, two groups, and then go into the folder, set up the securities, and then just go and play around with this. Like they can, one group can see this folder, other group cannot see the folder. Then we'll just extend the same conversation. Let's say I'm going in Fab, and then right-click in this folder, and I'm saying cut and delete. Well, in production folder, in production scenario, you're never supposed to have cut and delete. Otherwise, it's up to the termination of your job. Like if anyone delete by mistake, even though, or cut or delete, if you don't have a backup, it's really kind of felony kind of thing. Like you're reporting, you're deleting a report. So it's a very responsible job, I would say. So like how you are going to make sure none of the users has this cut and delete rights in the folder, right? So it's like just making sure even in the development, if you are working as a administrator, you don't want to give them a delete rights. Otherwise, if you delete it, if you right click and go into the properties, there is a CUID. The CUID denotes which report you are referring to. So if you have dev, UAT, and a prod, and if you have removed your report, even though in dev today, and now you got old copy somewhere and you pasted it, even the report name is same, but if you have your mismatch in CUID when you're trying to migrate a report from dev to UAT/UAT to prod, you will get an error message CUID mismatch. How to solve that scenario? So that's what kind of real-time challenges you will be facing when you will be working even the developer or administrator. It doesn't matter, but we are going to talk about all these scenarios in the real-time section. So one thing again, going a little bit more in the detail, and let's say one report, like one folder you wanted to, as a think about from the developer, like you do want to grant cut, copy, paste, let's say in the development folder, because developer is going to develop a report, so he can do anything in this folder underneath. So whenever he is under this development folder, he can do cut, copy, delete, but all the other folder he should not supposed to. How you're going to split these rights for the same user in two different folders, which is kind of seems complex, but once you learn it, it's just piece of a cake. So basically that's kind of the scenarios I'm talking about at the beginning, and then scheduling and all the publications and all these things, just like a part of our batch, like events, when you're scheduling a report and you are going right click and say scheduling, and then there is an event. Well, let's say think about another scenario, there is a one report which is kind of just like data dump of your backend, you are reporting data, but one other project in the same company is expecting this data for their ETL work. They just want the data in Excel, CVS, or CSV, or .txt format. Just give them a data. Now, okay, but how to know? They always want the up-to-date information. Now, you wanted to set up some kind of an event. Let's say as soon as your ETL job is going to finish, you want to start your report refresh, means start the report run process, and as soon as your ETL finish, you want some kind of signal to understand in your reporting world. You got that signal, then you want to run this report. Once you run the report, you drop that report data back there, whatever the folder location, file system or FTP system, and then the ETL will pick up just like that for the other people, for the other team. That you don't care, but I'm just elaborating the whole scenario. So the ETL will pick up and they will get the data. So now your manager will come and say, okay, we got this finalized sign off. This is how you got to do. You got to set up this one somehow. You just work with the ETL team. ETL team will say, okay, we'll do that. We'll go and just start working. How you do that? That's kind of the scenarios, right? The profiling, which is one other basically elaborated concept, advanced concepts when I say profiling. Let's say you got this one report. Now, in this one report, let's say profile fib. Okay, so let's say this is one report which has all the state on the left hand side and all the months, January to 12 month, January to basically December, all the 12 months data. Now I will say, well, that's okay, but you know what, this California, this Colorado, and then let's say some this California, Colorado, let's say they are like Pacific state. Let's send this to the Pacific group. Only Pacific group should whenever, and this is all the scheduling, like in the night, 2 o'clock, you are going to run a report, and then you are going to send this report to all the different users community, but you do want to maintain the security, right? It means like, why you will send this DC guy, California and Colorado sales data? It's kind of like you don't care, and you don't want to give them because they just should focus on the DC. Otherwise, they will say, hey, you guys are talking about me, I'm making 278 sales revenue in January. Other people are just making 69. Go back and work with me. It's like they will change their tone, right? So you don't want to don't want to give the unnecessary data to the unnecessary parties. So how you're going to do that on the fly when the same report is going to run? one user is in kind of a power user. He's kind of a big boss manager. He wanted to see everything, all the 12 months data, all the state, data in the report, in the scheduled report in PDF copy. Early morning, 7 o'clock, he will log in. He will see everything. All looks good, right? Then the other group you will set up, and this is only for this specific users. They should only supposed to see this 2 row. Then you got your DC, Florida, New York, like, this EST, like Eastern group. They only supposed to see 1, 2, and New York data. Then Illinois, Massachusetts, and Texas, let's say Central. So how you're going to burst the report data on the fly? This profiling. That's kind of one example. Likewise, you will say the 6-month data to see, like, the one group, and then July to 12, another group should see this data. How you're going to do that? That's kind of the report profiling, right? So this is kind of all. Then the one access level is going to answer that question, the one I was talking about in the splitting of the rights, and then the profile is right here. And then calendars, lot of things like events is right here. Few other scenarios which are very kind of like, real-time practical. Let's say your user is running a report, and then he's trying to download a data in their computer, and then he's waiting for like 5 minutes, and then suddenly he got an error message saying maximum binary file size reached. Please contact your business object administrator, or please contact your admin, or please contact your support, something like that, right? They will take a snapshot, send it back to you. Now what to do, right? What you will be going to do that. You will say, okay, let's set up a call. You will just look through what they are doing, and they are simply doing the same thing, run a report, and then they're simply trying to download the data in Excel spreadsheet or some CSV sheet, and then they are getting the same error message again. Now, you have no clue because you just don't know. But now once I will teach you, like, okay, now it's like, that's a sitting behind somewhere, some kind of like, information. This is all we are going to teach you what it is and how it's going to be useful. And then you will see one small property as I'm speaking through it is making more sense. Binary stream maximum size MB. Let's say this is 50 here, but maybe in your company, in your application, it is 5 MB because of your manager's security, or like, SLA, service level agreement, and whatever you have with between your business users and your technical department. They will not let you download more than 5 MB data. So now that's what you're getting an error message. The moment you get that error message, oh, I know, it's a quick fix. Just give me a minute. I will go and check with the management, and if they allow, if they permit, go to the approval process, blah, 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 just change it, bounce the server, like restart the server or save it, and go ahead and say, go ahead and just like, check one more time, and then all set, you're good, right? So that's kind of the quick thing about the servers. And then we are going through the architecture and how these servers have been built, how they're connected, how they communicate, what each server, what are the information related with all the servers. So kind of the thing. So every day, so that's the pretty much in every day, the class will be focused on the real-time scenario. As I'm just giving you few of them as we are talking through now, but we'll be just talking all the real-time, as I said, kind of the very practical scenarios, and you will be receiving all the standard SAP standard materials, like the PDF materials, whatever we have with SAP BO4.1, 4.0, all the standard PDF study materials, plus you will be going to get so all you are going to get as part of this one, basically, all, I would say, standard SAP BO 4.1 study materials, plus you will be going to get all practical materials for practice, plus you will be going to get forums, plus links, some information link, then plus you will be going to get SAP certification material, which itself, as I wrote in my email, usually you will see it's kind of 200 plus, like 3 paper materials, which is very rare and which is very, very powerful and very, very great materials. Once if you focus this training and then you go through these materials, pretty much just like a brush of what we've gone through. And our course curriculum will prepare you for one other things like SAP 4.0 web intelligence. web intelligence certification. So pretty much all the syllabus or the topics what we have, you know, sample questions, yeah, sample questions. We'll provide sample questions on this one. We'll prepare you definitely for this one thoroughly, and then you just definitely need to do some practice that anyway. And then plus here you will receive a question back again for the certification material. So we will help you out to make sure you do excel in your business object career, starting with the certification or with the job or anything else, I would say. Plus, like, this is kind of not yet finished. Like in the 6th, we'll say, once we finish a little bit on the reporting, I will send you sample resume, plus interview questions, just like interview questions, and just like to start working on your resumes and interviews and the job market. And then I will make a recommendation basically based on your um, resumes. You can send back to me and I will review it, and I can give you recommendations like what you need to make change or something like that. And yep, and that's it pretty much. And then we do have job support, but that's kind of a different layer. But yeah, it's like few, I would say like 1 or 2, just like email back and forth, just like some small supports I can help you out. And as I said, I am right here in Charlotte, NC, so it's kind of a big difference. And I do work as like as I said, 9 to 5 basically. 9 to 6, 7, but anyway, 9 to 6, I would say EST timing. So after that, like, I set up my class in the evening. So it's kind of another big major factor when someone is right here and, talking to you and helping you, picking your call and answering you, at least saying, well, I'm right now in the meeting, we'll talk in the evening, or, talk in the, in the night, give me a call, something, and then I can hear you at least your problem. Just like 1 or 2 times in the beginning if you need some help. But if you professionally need like long-term job support, that's a different, because be practical, like, your time is my money is your time. So that's overall, I would say. So far, any question, anyone? And plus recording, yeah. So recording will be on the server. So everyday class, as I can see, I'm recording this class right here as we speak through, and the recording folder will be D, and the D recording, and this is kind of the recording folder. It's kind of the big file because it's a lot of contents, and like, it's like 112, 200. So sometimes like, 200, 250 MB of big files. So it's like a lot of work, basically uploading, buying this shared space and all those things. So we keep it in the server, and again, we are meeting, as I said in the beginning, Monday to Friday. So a lot of commitment. I am very punctual and professional. So once you pay and sign up for the class, then it's my responsibility to make sure I will cover all the topics and all the concepts and complete your training up to the best possible quality what you can deserve, what you pay for that. So that's all up to me. All you need to focus here, just commit yourself for another 3 to 4 weeks, and then just spend at least the time what you come here. Just be punctual and be honest with yourself. Come on time and practice yourself and ask questions, right? That's what I would expect you, and I will guarantee you, you will be going in the business object career. I have successful record placing housewife and OPT students, like working right now in the job and cracking certificates and doing really good into the BO world actually. So that's all from my side. Anyone has any question? I know a few people have joined late. I think Aisha, you joined a little bit late. Raja, I think you picked up right there at the beginning itself. But anyway, anyone has any other question for me? Aisha, Raja, Santosh? No? Okay. So, yep, go ahead. Santosh?
No, nothing.
Okay. Yep. So I did share my information. So I think Raja and Aisha, you do have a link and you do have a detail. So basically, just like, call me back if you have any questions. And I'm writing my number here again. And then, as I said, I have confirmed basically a few folks here, which we are going to start our class from tomorrow onwards. And I do have one other lady from Canada, so I need to check with her. She was in previous class. She got some personal issues, so she will be joining in this batch. So you can say this is kind of my cell phone number. So you can call me back if you have, and we are going to start our class tomorrow onwards. So we would like to make sure, like, you complete your basically all the tuition formalities, like, as soon as you can before tomorrow's class. As soon as I have your tuition payment confirmation, I will send you your, as I said in the beginning, your user ID and password that you will log in into the server, and then if you want, you can go back and use the recording if you want. It's more like a voice recording for today's session, not much on the practical. But tomorrow's session, we will start with the basic, like, the very basic, the very basic, like, the database concepts, like just like this one, just like going through some of the sessions and all these things. Not the architecture for sure. This is the first one, and then we'll go with the university designing, the very first starting class. Okay. All right. Very last time, anyone has any open question for me? Else we will turn off the session for tonight, and then we'll meet tomorrow based on the confirmation from a student at the same time, 7:30 p.m. EST. Okay. Last chance, like Santosh, any question? Raja, Aisha, guest? Good. All right. You guys have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Good night.